What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved tough guys sits down for what should have been a relaxed, fun conversation, and everything suddenly goes wrong? Today, we're going to break down the tense moment Jason Momoa walked off the Kelly Clarkson Show. And believe me, you'll want to know exactly what was said before he decided to leave the set. But first, don't forget to subscribe and tell us in the comments whose side you're on after hearing what went down. So, imagine this. Jason Momoa strolls onto Kelly Clarkson's stage looking exactly how you'd picture him, cool, confident, and effortlessly stylish. He's wearing one of those casual, perfectly worn-in tank tops that only he can make look iconic. The crowd goes wild, cheering as Kelly flashes her trademark smile. Everything feels like it's about to be another lighthearted celebrity chat full of laughs and compliments. They start with the usual small talk. Kelly praises his latest movie, Jason thanks the audience, and they both sit down, smiling and laughing. Kelly begins with safe questions about his career, his dedication, his intense training for his action roles. Jason responds like a pro, charming, funny, confident. He talks about his workout routine, his discipline, and the way he prepares physically and mentally for his roles. Kelly nods, clearly enjoying his answers, and the audience is hooked. Then things take a small but noticeable turn. Kelly leans forward. Her tone softens just a little, but there's an edge to it. At first, most people probably wouldn't even notice. But Jason does. His smile fades just slightly as she says, "So, Jason, you've built this amazing career playing these big, larger-than-life heroes and warriors. But I'm curious." She pauses for effect. "How much of that is really you, and how much is just great acting and some incredible stunt coordination?" The audience chuckles. It sounds playful enough, like classic Kelly humor. Jason gives a polite laugh, but it's the kind that doesn't fully reach his eyes. He replies, "Well, Kelly, I do my own stunts whenever they let me. I train constantly. Anyone who's worked with me will tell you I bring a lot of myself to the roles." Kelly nods but doesn't let it drop. She says, "Oh, I'm not doubting your hard work at all, but Hollywood has a way of building images, right? Like, we see you as this warrior type, this larger-than-life guy. But at the end of the day, you're still an actor playing a role. There's a difference between being a character and playing one." Jason shifts a little in his chair. He's still smiling, but his jaw tightens. "Of course there's a line," he says calmly, "but I live a lifestyle that supports those roles. I'm not showing up out of shape and letting special effects do the job. This is something I live and breathe." Kelly laughs lightly. "Of course you look amazing. Everyone can see that. But come on, with all the trainers and nutritionists and teams helping you out, it's not exactly the same as if a regular guy tried to do all that alone, right?" The audience goes quiet for a second. The tone has shifted. What started as a fun interview now sounds a bit sharp. Jason's smile tightens again. "I appreciate the compliment," he says, "but I've been an athlete my whole life. I grew up climbing, surfing, doing real physical things. That's not Hollywood magic. That's real effort and years of experience." Kelly tilts her head and says, "I totally get that. But there's still a big difference between being athletic and playing those warriors on screen. Those characters are fighting for their lives, facing actual danger. You're on a set with safety gear and stunt doubles nearby. I just wonder if sometimes the line between fantasy and reality gets a little blurred for you." Jason stops smiling. He sits back, crosses his arms, and says, "Kelly, are you actually questioning whether I can tell the difference between a movie and real life?" Kelly raises her hands in defense. No, not at all," she says quickly. "I just mean that sometimes actors get so deep into their roles that they start believing their own hype a little. It happens in this industry." Jason's voice gets quieter but firmer. "I don't believe my own hype, Kelly. I believe in the work I do. There's a big difference. I've never pretended to be an actual warrior, but I don't like it when people act like what I do is fake or easy." Kelly looks like she realizes she's touched a nerve, but she keeps going anyway. "Okay, but let's talk about that work. You mentioned training and dedication, but you also have resources most people could never imagine. I mean, when you're paid millions to stay in shape for a role, doesn't that make it a little easier than someone who's working a 9 to 5 and trying to fit in a workout?" Jason leans forward. "So you're saying the work I do doesn't count because I get paid for it? Should I be sorry for earning a living doing what I love?" His tone is still calm, but there's clear frustration under it. Kelly shakes her head. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about privilege in Hollywood. You've had opportunities others haven't, and it's worth acknowledging. Jason's face hardens. I've never denied my privilege, Kelly. I'm thankful every day for my opportunities. But privilege doesn't erase effort. It doesn't erase the work I've done to get here. By now, the air in the room is heavy. The audience is dead silent, unsure if they're watching real tension or part of the act. Kelly tries to lighten things again, smiling nervously. Okay, maybe I went too deep there. I didn't mean to upset you. I was just trying to make the interview more meaningful than the usual fluff. Jason shakes his head. There's a difference between a meaningful talk and passive-aggressive jabs. If you wanted to talk about privilege, we could have done that. But questioning my authenticity and my work ethic? That's not depth. That's disrespect. Kelly's smile fades completely. I wasn't trying to disrespect you, Jason. You're taking this way too personally. Jason's tone sharpens. Taking it personally? Kelly, you've spent the last 10 minutes suggesting that I'm fake and out of touch. How exactly should I take that? Kelly opens her mouth to reply, but Jason keeps going. You know what this is really about? You wanted a viral moment. You wanted to push buttons so people would talk about this interview. Well, congratulations. You got your moment. But don't act surprised when someone calls you out on it. Kelly's face flushes red. That's not true. I was having a real conversation about fame and success. If that made you uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but it's worth discussing. Jason stands up, not angrily, just firmly. Yeah, it is worth discussing. But it should be done with respect, not with loaded questions. I came here ready to have fun, talk about my movie, make people laugh. Instead, I got ambushed. Kelly stands too. Jason, please, sit down. I think we're just having a misunderstanding. Let's reset. Jason shakes his head. No, I think I'm done. Kelly looks alarmed. Jason, come on. Don't leave like this. We have more to talk about. The audience watches in total silence, phones out, recording. Jason looks directly at her and says, More to talk about? What else? Maybe you want to question my family next? Maybe ask if my kids are real or CGI? Kelly looks stunned. That's unfair, Jason. I only asked normal questions about your career, and you turned it into an attack. Jason laughs bitterly. There it is. Now I'm the problem for reacting. You push someone and then act shocked when they respond. He pauses, then adds, When you won American Idol, did people accuse you of not earning it? Did they say you only succeeded because the producers wanted you to? Did anyone ask you if you knew the difference between being a singer and being a TV personality? Kelly's mouth opens, but nothing comes out for a second. Then she says, That's not the same thing, and you know it. Jason raises an eyebrow. Why not? We both worked hard to get where we are. Yet somehow it's okay for you to question my journey. Kelly folds her arms. I never said your journey wasn't valid. I'm asking questions people at home are curious about. Not everyone gets to be a movie star. Jason nods slowly. Right. And not everyone works for years without a break, getting rejected again and again before finally breaking through. I earned this, Kelly. I wasn't handed anything. Kelly interrupts. But you have to admit, being tall, handsome, and charismatic helped. That's just reality. Jason's voice drops lower. So now it's about my looks? You're saying my success comes from genetics, not effort? Kelly shakes her head. I'm not saying that. I'm saying looks matter in Hollywood. It's context. Jason steps closer, still calm but visibly done. Context? No, Kelly, what you're doing isn't giving context. It's undermining my work. You've spent this whole interview tearing down what I've built. Why? Did I offend you somehow? Kelly looks frustrated. You're overreacting. I ask tough questions to everyone. That's what this show is about. Jason shakes his head slowly. There's a difference between tough questions and hostile ones. Tough questions challenge. Hostile ones insult. Someone off camera gestures frantically, probably signaling to cut to commercial, but Kelly ignores it. If you can't handle tough questions, maybe interviews aren't for you, Jason. Jason's tone hardens. I can handle questions, Kelly. What I won't handle is being disrespected. You want to challenge me? Ask about my mistakes, my struggles. But don't sit here and suggest my success isn't real. Kelly's arms cross again. I never said your work doesn't matter. You're twisting my words, Jazz.